Yo, getting hit in the face hurts like a motherfucker. Yo, this episode is brought to you by my neighbor who just got into a drunken fist fight with my other neighbor. So now we don't have to share that backyard space anymore because they about to get kicked out. So, I mean, we cooking out this summer, baby. Welcome back to the reigning, defending, undisputed, undefeated, most secret podcast in the fucking world. Ladies and gentlemen, nobody asked Shawn. Back for another goddamn week. This is episode 13, the Bar Mitzvah episode. And boy, have we got some Torah reading for you today. We're going to read from the Talmud. We're going to read from the Torah. We're going to celebrate. Today, you are a man or a woman, bat mitzvahs as well. 'Tis the season for everyone to be a man or a woman. Yet another week of African Americans Women's Fitness Month. African Americans Women's Fitness Month. I know what it is, man. I made a promise to Jackie Joyner Kersey, and I do not break my promises. Jackie Joyner Kersey, what else needs to be said? Look at this picture of Jackie Joyner Kersey and tell me she doesn't deserve Nobody Asked Shawn's African American Woman Who Happens to Be Fit of the Week award. How could you do it? There's some other pictures. She's a very fit woman. She's a very incredible athlete. Represented our country in the Olympics and did us proud. So, we're not going to stay long on this, but I ain't got much for this. I'm sorry. I didn't think this through. Jackie Joyner Kersey, you are Nobody Asked Shawn's African American Woman Who Happens to Be Fit of the Week. Enjoy it. I went to go play some basketball the other day, and a nigga elbowed me on the right side of my head, and I felt it in my left ear. And after that point, I was a little bit off balance, and I missed almost every shot I took for the rest of the game. And I just want to say, any fighter who finishes a round after getting knocked down should get a bonus for the fight. That's just how I feel about it. I have so much more respect for fucking fighters. Like, everybody thinks they could be a fighter on some level, but here's the thing about getting hit in the face hurts like a motherfucker. A lot of times, especially in the UFC, not so much in boxing because, the knockdowns are a little different, but they'll stop a fight and people be like, yo, why he ain't fighting back? It's like, nigga, because his nose hurts. His nose hurts, and he wants to protect that more than he wants to protect the rest of his head that's being pummeled. That shit hurts, man. When a nigga gets hit in the nose and keeps moving forward, it's like, that's amazing to me. When that nigga elbowed me in the face, I was like, yo, is it time for me to retire? You know how every athlete always says they had that moment when they knew it was over for them? I thought that was my moment. Especially because the nigga I was playing defense on, this was the wildest shit. We was playing 2-on-2, and the nigga I was playing defense on, he was fine, but we won both games when I played against him. That nigga took a break, smoked a cigarette, and got better. And I was like, yo, if a nigga who is smoking cigarettes is now better than me in basketball, maybe this was never my game. Maybe it's time I open a steakhouse or bistro or start some sort of media empire like all great athletes do once they retire, because this wasn't it. That was not fun for me. DMX passed away this past weekend, and that was a big blow. I think it was a bigger blow than a lot of people might have expected it to be, because X was huge, and we all knew he was huge. I think by now, if you've been online, you all know the stats, and you might have known him before, but that's not the point. We all know the stats and how 2 number 1 albums in a year, first 5 albums with number 1. We all know all that stuff. But I think the ways the internet made him something of a mascot or a caricature in his later years made it easy to forget how towering and important a figure he was to hip hop, and beyond that, how inspirational he was as a person. That was a powerful soul. This Childish Gambino line I keep coming back to, where he's like, weird night and everybody was tipsy, hanging out with Questlove, reminiscing about Whitney. He like, damn, we can't even make it to 50. I always think about that line because it's like, DMX died at 50, and 50 is so fucking young. It's just crazy to see so many, this next part is going to be all anecdotal and unresearched, but it feels like hip-hop and black culture at large experiences loss at a disproportionate rate. Just in hip-hop alone in the last 5 years, how many people have we lost way too early? Got X, Nipsey, King Von, Pop Smoke, Juice WRLD, Doom, Triple X, Bushwick Bill, China, Bankroll Fresh, Fred the Godson, Lil Marlo, Mo3, Prodigy, Fredo Santana, Jimmy Wapo, Craig Mack, Not to exclude Mac Miller, because Mac Miller's in that number as well, but I'm just thinking about black people right now. But I'm gonna include Mac Miller too. But like, yo, the rate at which we experience loss in hip hop is so crazy, and it's like the shit that rappers have to go through. That shit ain't fair, bruh. I talked to a friend recently about how it's so crazy that rappers have to travel with an entourage just to be safe. You got to be like a flexing ass type of rapper. Like you could go to a city and just get ran down on just on the strength of like niggas know your name, or like the idea of checking in, right? The idea of having to go, if you go into LA, you got to check in with somebody to be safe. Like indie bands don't got to do that shit. That shit is so crazy. Indie bands will just hop in a van and just go tour everywhere in this country and just be straight. You doing some shit like that and as a rapper, it's like you might be putting yourself in danger. So getting back to my point, hip hop is like in its 50s or some shit. So like DMX is about the same age, somewhere around the same age as hip hop, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older. I can't remember the exact number how old they say hip hop is. We ain't gonna see a lot of the people who pioneered this shit get to live to see, like become that legacy act. You know what I mean? Like Paul McCartney is still here. Mick Jagger is still here. Bob Dylan is still here. Joni Mitchell is still here. And obviously a lot of those greats have passed away. Everyone else in the Beatles, for example, David Bowie. But like at least there's a good amount of people who got to become those legacy acts and get to see like get to live on and see what the influence their music had on generations to come. And like so many of our artists ain't gonna get to see that. Nipsey died at 33. Biggie and Tupac died in they were like 24, 25. I was talking to some friends like a few months ago, and I was saying like, yo, isn't it crazy from my city, New Haven, right? I don't think I know too many people who around my age from New Haven who can't name at least 15 people they know who were killed at a young age. Just killed. I could probably name 20 to 30. I wasn't close with all of them, but like people I know, I met, interacted with in some way. 20 to 30 people I know who were killed before they hit 30. Then you add in people who died of a sickness, died of a car accident. And then like you extend it back so many years through segregation, Jim Crow, Reconstruction, obviously slavery. It's like, what is it about like black people that we are so cursed? I don't even know what this conversation is. It's like DMX's death just kind of put me in a weird space for just like thinking about like just over the last 25 years since just before DMX came on the scene, since take it back to like 96, starting at Tupac and moving forward, how many rappers we've lost for a number of reasons, not all just murder, but just like for any number of reasons. I don't know, it just kind of put me in a weird space. This is not the funniest episode of the show, but all I'm saying is like, yo, if it's a heaven, that shit better be lit, man, because this ain't it. Somebody posted a great tweet a couple days ago, and it said something along the lines of, I wish we got to experience peace on this side too. I think she was talking about DMX because, you know, a lot of people were saying like, oh, he's at peace now. And it's like, you know, how come we don't get to see peace on this side? You know what I mean? Like so few people get to see, and this is true of so many other cultures, but I'm just talking about in America. I feel like for black people specifically, it's like we don't see a lot of peace, man. It's like black people be wilding sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like at brunch, just wilding like in public and shit. But it's like it's not hard not to appreciate seeing black people when they ready to celebrating out loud and unabashedly and kind of like almost obnoxiously, you know what I mean, bombastically, but because it's like nigga, this hell yeah, we going up because we don't get a lot of chances to do shit like this for no reason, you know what I mean? So it's like I guess that's my ultimate point. It's like, yo, I just wish everybody as much joy and peace as possible because it's rough out here, man. Rest in peace, DMX. Thank you for everything, and I hope you at peace wherever you are right now. Now for my favorite segment of the show, Nobody's Asked Shawn. Send in your questions to nobodyasksean@gmail.com or nobodyasksean on Instagram, or just text me at your leisure. First question, do you like theme parks? I love theme parks. I will take any opportunity to go to a theme park. Even like carnivals and shit. Thing about carnivals though is like there's certain carnival rides I just can't fuck with. Like anytime it's like a high flying ride at a carnival, like hell no, I'm not getting on this shit. Some high school kid just built this shit 45 minutes ago. There's no way I'm fucking stepping foot on the zipper and getting shot and launched into the sky. This nigga's high on meth. I do love theme parks. In fact, I have a memory of theme park. I remember in high school, most weekends I would go stay at my mom's house. And one weekend I didn't go to my mom's house. And on Sunday, everybody was like posting pictures like, oh, Six Flags was so fun this weekend. All my friends, my close friends, like my two best friends, their girlfriends, everybody. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, yo, y'all niggas just went to Six Flags and didn't tell me. Like, oh, we thought you was at your mom's house. Nigga, you couldn't ask if I was at my mom's house. Like, you couldn't just say like, yo, just in case. I know you probably at your mom's house, but like, we going to Six Flags. We had to ask. That's what I would have did. I was so fucking mad. I'm still mad to this day. I never forgive these niggas for that shit. But I love theme parks, and hope I get to go to some more now that the coronavirus pandemic is appearing to reach its end. Second question: would you delete an experience? I would probably delete pretty much any attempt I had to have some sort of romantic relationship with any woman between 2007 and like 2013. Like that shit was all bad. When you want to talk about like win percentage in terms of like shooting your shot, nigga, I am at the bottom of the barrel. Like, I remember there's this one game where when Chris Bosh was playing for the Heat and he went 0 for 18 for a game. That's how that's my numbers for most of my life. Like even after 2013, my numbers improved. So they looked good relative to, you know, shooting 0 for 18. But in terms of the league standard compared to the rest of the league, like I was still, you know what I mean? I was coming off the bench in the G League. That's how bad I was. But I wouldn't really delete the experience, and I'll tell you why. It's because I regret there's no good experiences I've had in my life. Like even things that were good at the time, I look back like I could have did this better. I regret everything. I'm very hard on myself. I wouldn't delete anything because it's all bad. So it's like nothing is really much worse than anything else. All MCU movies or all Tyler the Creator projects. I mean, I'm a huge nerd, and anybody who knows me knows that about me. I love all the Marvel shit. I love comic books. But it's Tyler the Creator, and it's not even close. I mean, like Tyler the Creator is one of my biggest inspirations. Like Tyler and Odd Future came into like me and my friend's life at such a like integral point of our lives. Like we were like 16, 17. It was like junior, senior. Like I can't even explain to somebody who wasn't around at the time, like a younger person, like what Tyler the Creator was to like my friend group and a lot of people like me around, like around the world or whatever. So it's like Tyler's music just meant more to me. Like I fuck with the Marvel movies, but Tyler shit is like it shaped so much of my idea. Like that nigga Tyler is so inspirational to me as terms of like that nigga was doing shit the way he wanted to do it. He shaped his career in his own image, and in most respects, I mean, he's nailed every part of it. Like that nigga in terms of like doing what you want to do it the way you want to do it. Like for my generation, I can't think of somebody who's more inspirational in terms of doing it that way. There's few other people who I fuck with, like not just as an artist, but like as a visionary. If you were gonna be a bender, would it be water, earth, fire, air? Honestly, it's Airbender probably number one, and it's probably not even really close. Airbending is just probably looks like the most fun of the bending, and it's the least like dangerous. That seems like it could be a disadvantage, but it's like I don't want to hurt people. Sometimes it's beneficial to have the ability to hurt people, but I don't want to hurt people. I want to have fun. That's what my life is about, is having fun, and nobody has more fun than Airbenders. Obviously, Aang was like 12 when everyone else was like, 14, 15, 16, whatever. So he was still a kid having fun, but like that shit was just fun. Airbending is fun. He makes the fucking air scooter. He goes around the glider. That shit's mad fun. After that, I'll probably go water bending. You could just be surfing. That shit is hard. I like wetting a towel or like a washcloth and like whipping people with it. And you could just do that without the towel with the water just whoosh. In a practical sense, fire would probably be the number one because like I hate being cold more than anything. But yeah, airbending, man, that shit is hard. Do I listen to music to go to sleep, and why is it Frank Ocean's Pyramids? No, Liz. No, it's not Pyramids. And no, I don't listen to music to go to sleep. Because my thing is, I usually go to sleep way after I'm mad tired, so I just fall asleep. What is my opinion on Bryson Tiller? I don't have any opinion on Bryson Tiller. I was never really into his shit, but I don't have anything against him. Actually, you know what? I will say this. I think I blame Bryson Tiller for the dad hat craze, even though he may or may not be responsible. But it's like, nigga, I'm putting this on your shoulders. Fuck you. You shouldn't have done this. Let's go back to fitteds and snapbacks. Even though the snapback era was nasty. The snapbacks and tattoos era was nasty. Like, y'all niggas should be ashamed of yourselves. And we'll get into that at a later date, but nasty. My other opinion on Bryson Tiller is go back and listen to Bryson Tiller's verse on Wild Thoughts and tell me that's not one of the worst verses you've ever heard. Like, it's literally it's just all cliches. Like, it's just cliche after cliche after, like, it's not good. But no shade to Bryson Tiller, shout out to you. Any update on the mugs? Okay, so here's the thing with the mug is the reason I haven't put out a mug yet is because the first mug that I showed on this show was hand painted. So I was going through different sites trying to find a good mug place, and like a lot of them were like, you got to order 200 mugs, and then like when I tried to put the logo on there, it didn't look good or it was too small or whatever. But anyway, my ultimate update is I am now selling mugs. There's going to be a link in the Nobody Asked Shawn Instagram bio to buy a Nobody Asked Shawn mug. If you do order a mug, give me whatever feedback you have, and I will try to improve on the mug if it's not to your liking. But finally, there's a mug for you in the world. Favorite musical memory? I would go with two memories, and they're both with the same person. One of my best friends, Ivan. So first memory is, so this is probably like 2011, 2012. Ivan has just getting his first car. He bought a green Jeep for one of my other best friends, Joe's mom. And I remember the first day he bought the Jeep, he bought that shit. And I remember one of my favorite memories is we was riding down Whaley Avenue, one of the main streets in New Haven. And we were just bumping We Fly High by Jim Jones. And it was just like nigga, I never felt more free in my life. It wasn't even my car. Like I had no freedom. I was a passenger. I was at the whims of the driver of the car, but like that shit just was mad fun. It was like niggas just felt like it was like, yo, like nigga, we're teenagers and we're in a car listening to a fucking amazing song. It was fucking amazing. Another great memory is with the same person in that same car. This is definitely in 2012 because it was the day Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City came out, and I remember we had put on Good Kid, Mad City, and we was bumping that shit on these back roads back from Waterbury in the afternoon, and we were just flying, and we got pulled over by a cop. And the cop was like, yo, do you know how fast you were going? And he was like, Ivan was like, I was just going with the flow of traffic, sir. And he was like, all right, I'll just let you guys off with a warning. And it was like, oh, it's lit. Nigga, we just listened to this great Kendrick Lamar album, and we avoided a ticket. So 2 great musical memories with one of my best pals. Top 5 vocalists. This is not like the best 5 of all time or whatever. These are just people I love to harmonize with if I'm singing, or just 5 vocalists that I love. Brittany Howard from Alabama Shakes has one of the most amazing voices in the world. She's like, you know the way people go crazy over Adele's voice? And Adele's voice is amazing, but it's like, she's like if, you know how like a lot of people say like, oh, I thought Adele was black when I first heard her. Like, she's like Adele, but she's actually black. She's amazing. She's got one of the most amazing, like, powerful voices. And she's like, it's unreal. Donald Glover, I love Donald Glover's voice. Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Donald Glover fan altogether. I love pretty much everything he does. But I think he's just a really, 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 really talented singer. Caroline Polachek from Chairlift is one of my favorite singers. She's got an amazing voice. You guys may know her because she's written for Beyonce before. What song was it? I'll just post it here, whatever. But amazing singer, one of my favorites. She does amazing things with her voice. Prince, David Bowie, Young Jeezy. Hold on, let me talk about Young Jeezy. Got to be on any vocalist list. He's got to be on it. Like, Young Jeezy's voice is one of the most amazing voices in the world. Period. I don't care if he's not a singer. That nigga Jeezy's voice has to be respected. That nigga's voice is cool as fuck. I mean, besides that, I mean, obviously you got Al Green, Whitney Houston, Melissa Morgan, who made one of my favorite songs of all time, Fool's Paradise. It might be my favorite song of all time. I know, and she's an accolade of Shaka Khan, whose voice is also amazing. But Melissa Morgan, just specifically on Fool's Paradise, is like, bruh, it gets no better. Obviously Mariah Carey, Luther Vandross, Art Garfunkel, but that's whatever. And then final question, top 5 lyricists. Again, not in order, and I would try to keep it to like just 5 or 6 and not like 20 that I just did for the other question. But Lupe Fiasco is one of my favorite rappers, and a lot of people don't know Lupe as like an incredible lyricist because they know him from like Kick Push or Superstar, which is an incredibly lyrical song if you listen to it. But Lupe, and I'll put like a list of songs, like just a list of songs if you want to know how fucking amazingly lyrical Lupe is. And then Earl Sweatshirt. I gotta tell you about Earl. I feel like Earl might be like, he was like what Nas was to a previous generation. He was for my generation. He just wasn't as mainstream. But like, that nigga Earl had mastered rapping at 15. Like, listen to Earl by Earl off his first project, Earl. I'm a hot and bothered astronaut crashing while jacking off the buffer from vids of Ashroth eating applesauce. Sent the earth to poke casket to applesauce. Black blunt acid to the caskets to laugh it off. Twisted sick of the mad cat. In fact, I'm more cystic and live with a pitchfork passing on. Like, this is at 15 years old. And obviously, you could say what was he talking about? And that's what I'm saying. He mastered rapping at that age, and then he had to get better in terms of making like good music. MF Doom, y'all know how I feel about MF Doom. Rest in peace, MF Doom. Off kilter guy. You might not love his music. You gotta respect Doom as a lyricist. Like that nigga was different. I was listening to 3 Stacks' verse on Anderson .Paak's Ventura album. I can't remember the name of the song, but that verse he puts on there. I mean 3 Stacks. I mean just this. 3 Stacks has an amazing verse in every era since Outkast came about. Black Thought. Yeah, I saw 10 minutes of Black Thought freestyling. Didn't miss a beat on fucking Funk Flex. Like and this is 6, but you want to talk about like a left field. Kool-Aid from Das Races. Kool-Aid, I want to say underrated. I hate the term underrated, but unheralded rappers I've ever heard. Oh, and Ka. Ka is the most unheralded rapper of all time. Like that nigga Ka, he's so fucking thoughtful and does his shit at his own pace. Like that nigga Ka is amazing. Listen to Honor Killed the Samurai, Herman and the Recluse. Like that nigga is amazing. Mos Def, obviously. Listen to Speed Law of Black on Both Sides and tell me Mos Def's not an amazing lyricist. But that's the segment. That's the episode. Send in your questions for next week. Rest in peace to DMX. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, all that shit. And Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.